I have lost count of the amount of times I've tried to record this video now. Hi guys, Vino here and welcome to this Vino Plump production. And I think the wind is definitely in the right direction. I've got this feeling at the moment. I think it's just a warm feeling in my crotch. And what is that warm feeling in my crotch? Well, I think it's time for a cuppa. And albeit milky, a bloody fine cup of tea it is. It's currently 5:25 on Tuesday the 6th of December 2022. How are you guys doing? Hopefully you are doing really, really well. Me, I am doing fantastic, to be honest. I'm doing really, really well, but I think it's time for me to address the elephant in the room. Yes, it's been a while since I've uploaded a YouTube video, and some people have been wondering about where I am, sort of thing. They've been inquiring through other means or other people, so to speak, that know about me. But I'm alive, I'm here, I'm well, I'm doing really well, actually. And this video is going to talk about some of that stuff. So what exactly happened? Why hasn't there been a video for 2-3 months now? I think it's been since I uploaded a video. So I was on a roll with making videos for a while. I was on a roll making those martial arts videos, preparing for the delivery of the Shore Scope Volume 1 box set. I then got that box set and was really excited, looked through it, was planning on making some videos about it, and all of a sudden the motivation, the enthusiasm just evaporated. Essentially just got sucked out of me. I'm not even sure what really happened. It disappeared. This happens sometimes. I suppose you could call it, you know, a YouTuber's version of writer's block. Essentially, I just couldn't get the enthusiasm, the motivation, anything to carry on doing YouTube videos. So I thought, you know what I'll do? I'll take the couple of weeks it was then to prepare for my new job. It's going to be a couple of weeks before I started my new job at that point. On the 24th of October, I started my new job. 2 weeks after, you know, all of that enthusiasm just sucked away. And I thought to myself, you know what, I'm going to get into a pattern when it comes to my new job. And then once I'm in that pattern, I will start making YouTube videos again. Well, I started the job and the training has been full on. The training has been really full on. There was 3.5 weeks of initial training, and then 2 weeks of being on the job. I've just been through 3 days more training, so there's even more training to come down the road. There's a lot of training when it comes to what I'm doing right now, and I will say this at this point, I have said this before, I'm not going to be saying what I'm doing right now, because you know, it's a next step in my life. It's a new leaf, turning over a new page, so to speak. And I don't want to, you know, be private about it. It's my privacy. At the end of the day, it's my prerogative what I share and don't share. So I'm keeping this part of my life secret, private, whatever the wording you want to use now, just to let people know. That's my that's my stance now. But that training was full on. I also had to completely rejigger my sleep schedule, completely rejigger any schedule that I had, essentially. And yeah, it's been very full on. It is a very full on job. And to be quite honest with you, most of the time I just want to come home and relax or fall asleep or whatever it may be. One of those things that may end up happening. I've been there about a month and a half now, just over a month and a half, and I'm loving the hell out of it. I'll say that right here, right now. I'm really, really enjoying this job, and I think it really is now a career for me, to be completely honest with you. And it has been an absolute blast, but it has been a bit of a, I don't want to use the word culture shock, but it has been a shock to the system. It is a lot to take on. It's a lot to do on a regular basis, on a daily basis, and it leaves you mentally drained. At the end of the day, it does leave you mentally drained at the end of the day. It's only recently I've had the capacity, I suppose, would be one way of putting it, to come home and, you know, actually feel relatively human to the point where I can actually start recording YouTube videos again. But I think, you know, things are starting to settle in now, settle down. I feel I got my feet under the desk, so to speak, so I can start, you know, work is now work, home is now home, you know, they're beginning to, you know, come together, and things are beginning to settle into a pattern, and I'm hoping that, you know, YouTube will be there along for the ride. Now, you know, having said that, there are some things in life that take a back burner when other things become the focus, and that's exactly what has happened. I have made no, what's the expression? I've made no bones about it that YouTube is a hobby for me. Probably always will be a hobby. I don't envision YouTube being anything more than a hobby for me personally, and hobbies take a backseat when it comes to things. I mean, you know, gaming and just movie watching in general, and just general hobby-like things have taken a back seat, so to speak. So of course YouTube took a back seat, but here I am recording this video, telling you guys I'm still alive, and telling you guys that I do very much intend on, you know, shooting some videos. I do have some videos to shoot. In fact, I've got some stuff to my right to give you a preview of in this video. Plus I did buy a device last week that I got some tax back. Basically got a tax rebate, and with that tax rebate, essentially I bought myself a Christmas gift, I suppose you could say, is one way of wording it. And I'll be talking about that very briefly in this video, but there will be a subsequent video where that will feature more heavily. So let's talk about what's to my right first. So, talking of that Shawshank, why do I keep saying Shawshank? Shawscope Volume 1 box set, I sold it. So, basically, I bought that because I'd pre-ordered the Shawscope Volume 2 box set, but upon reflection, I barely watched any of the films in that set. I barely even touched that set. It literally sat on the sofa to my right and effectively collected dust. So I sold that. I then switched my pre-order for the Shawshank Volume 2 set to something else that came out around the same time. That's also to my right. We'll get to that in a minute. But first of all, I'm going to show off what I very briefly talk about what I got when I traded in the Shawscope Volume 1 set, and I decided to pick up this, which is the Battlestar Galactica Ultimate collection. This is actually quite a rare set in the UK now. If you were to go onto Amazon, you'd have to pay £269 giggity for this set. So it is a bit of a prestigious set. It is out of print. Air quotes, the reason why I'm putting air quotes is you can get hold of it. It's just it's very expensive in some places. I got this from, obviously, I got this from CEX. So I traded in the Shawscope Volume 1 set into CEX, got this in its place, and I couldn't be happier. If you don't know, I'm a massive fan of the Battlestar Galactica revival. There's another revival on the way. We'll see how that pans out. But yeah, I'm a massive fan of this. Now, a little fact about this set that I didn't know until I did some research. This is the only way to legally acquire Caprica on Blu-ray. So Caprica is actually the prequel series of Battlestar Galactica. You can buy on DVD in the UK. One thing I will say though, it comes in two parts. The second part is stupidly expensive for what it is, like £20–25 for volume 2, which for half of a, you know, for half of a show is a little bit stupid. But anyway, if you wish to buy Caprica on Blu-ray as a single release, you're looking at a French or German release, and they're £35 a piece. So yeah, not cheap. This was £80 from CX. Contains everything Battlestar Galactica on Blu-ray, including Razor, including The Plan, including Caprica, including Blood and Chrome, and has a really nice book in the back. So considering that if I were to buy Caprica on Blu-ray, I'd have to spend £35 anyway, and you know, this cost me £80 because obviously I traded in SureScope and then paid a bit towards this, sold a monitor actually, so pretty much this paid for itself, so to speak. But yeah, I'm very happy to have this in the collection. A massive fan of this series, and this is like the third version of it I have now. So, talking about what I decided to switch my SureScope Volume 2 pre-order to, I decided to switch it to this. This is the Middle-earth 31 disc Ultimate Collector Edition of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. So, I have The Godfather on Blu-ray. I have... what's the other thing I have on Blu-ray? Star Wars. I keep saying Blu-ray. 4K. I meant 4K. I've got The Godfather on 4K. I've got Star Wars on 4K. I'm kind of trying to collect the marquee films on 4K. I haven't yet got The Lord of the Rings on 4K, watched a few reviews and what have you of it, and people are saying these are definitely show-off discs. So I thought, you know, this was coming out on the 21st of November. My birthday was the 16th of November. I'm now 34 years of old. I know, tell me about it. Anyway. Yeah, this was coming out on the 21st. This is actually a re-release. This did release last year around the same time, except the one last year came with a few more bits and bobs. This is a bit more of a tiny bit more stripped back version because it's a little cheaper than one last year, but the discs are still the same. The disc contents and the discs are still the same. It's just some of the accoutrements you get in there are stripped back a little bit, but those are all the bits and bobs you get in there. I've actually watched one half the films on 4K and they look astounding. They really do look and sound astounding. So there you go. That's Lord of the Rings on 4K, and I couldn't be happier. I've just dropped one of the games. So these are here to represent an Xbox Series X. So actually I got an Xbox Series X a month ago, I think it was, give or take. So I basically essentially swapped my Xbox Series S plus paid a little bit extra to get an Xbox Series X off of Facebook Marketplace. Really good deal actually. Came with an Elite controller, a standard controller, plus these games and a headset. The headset I sold to my dad. So all in all, you know, I basically got an Xbox Series X for the same price you would buy it if you went to the shop and bought it. Well, I got games, I got an Elite controller, a headset, you know, all those different bobs, and selling the headset to my dad, he even puts more money back in my pocket, so to speak. So there you go, Xbox Series X, very happy with that. The last thing that I've acquired in recent time, excuse me, is a Steam Deck. It's actually in the back room. I forgot to bring it in with me, and to be honest, I think this video is already long enough and already got quite a bit of content in it anyway to be getting on with for me to go and get the Steam Deck. Yes, but I got a Steam Deck. I've got the fully spammed up one, the one with 512 gig of NVMe storage in it, and the glass anti-glare etched screen, whatever it is. I didn't get it from Steam directly. I actually got it all Valve directly. I actually got it from Facebook Marketplace. There was a guy selling it on there for £500. Actually, it was actually £69 giggity off the RRP. Off of, if I were to go to Valve and buy it. Also didn't have to wait 2 weeks for it to arrive, because there is a 2-week wait on Steam Decks now, because I think they're made to order. There's not a queue anymore to be invited to buy one like there was earlier in the year. I think they're now made to order, and of course that takes 2 weeks for that process to go through. That's the only reason why I think that there's a 2-week wait still. Anyway, doesn't matter. There's a 2-week wait. I knew there was one on Facebook Marketplace because it keeps popping up anytime I personally go on the Facebook Marketplace. So I knew it was there. So I decided to contact the guy, and I bought it last week. Thoroughly loving the Steam Deck, and there is a review of sorts on its way, and I will be talking about the pros and some of the cons, obviously, and some of the caveats when it comes to owning a Steam Deck. I would actually say at this point, if you're not like PC savvy or computer savvy, I don't think buying a Steam Deck is actually a good idea, to be honest with you, because there are some things about the Steam Deck that would irritate the less tech savvy in the world. And it is still a PC. At the heart of it, it's still a PC, and it acts like a PC, in that sometimes you've got to reboot it, sometimes you've got to do some janky things to it to get things running or working if you're playing around with it. So there are some caveats to that, but that'll be in its own video, and I am going to be doing a video sort of Steam versus the Switch, but actually I'm going to be defending the Switch, because it seems a lot of Steam Deck owners are bashing the Switch at the moment, and I don't get it personally. I don't get why people feel it necessary to bash another console because another console is perceived to be better. To me, the Steam Deck is doing something completely different to what the Switch is trying to do, so why people are bashing it, I don't know. I know recently Nintendo are being very draconian with a lot of things they're doing recently, and it's sort of fueling a fire that people are, using the internet to vent to, and I'll be talking about that in my own video at some point. But until next time, guys, thank you very much for watching, staying patient and staying with me. Until next time, enjoy the rest of your day. Ta-ra.